I spent the whole weekend building a crypto trading bot in Python, and I put in 100 Australian dollars, which worked out to be around 65 US, just to see what happened. Yes, I was trading with my real money. Yes, I know that's probably not the best idea. And yes, I was also willing to lose everything and have it, watch it go entirely down to zero. I actually launched it way too early. I didn't test the bugs enough. So for the first 4 days, I ended up losing $4 just to the testing alone. I'll walk you through how I built it. We can talk about it, and then I'll go through the results at the end. Yeah, enjoy. So the first thing I had to do was figure out which API I was going to use. This was quite easy because I have built a trading bot before, so I just ended up using Binance. I know it's good and it's free. They actually, it turns out, they had a trending coin API endpoint, and I started out using this. I didn't end up using it in the end. But what I'm doing now is using Postman to call this API and just have a look at the graphs to make sure that they are actually trending. And then I ended up changing my strategy later. So it was a good starting point though. It gave me an idea of what I'm looking for with trending coins. And it also let you call per time frame, whatever time frame you wanted, which was great. This is me grabbing some API endpoints. I ended up saving a file just for the API output so that I wasn't calling it, because I didn't know the limits of the API at the time. Turns out you can get banned if you call it too many times. So I was lucky that I had saved it to a file instead of just calling it every single time. And we need a tea break. Of course we need a tea break. I have this brand new puppy. They get along so well, these two. She's 13 weeks old. This is Penny, and then the older one is Winnie. She is just so cute. Okay, back to programming. So what I ended up doing now was I grabbed a list of coins that trade with USDT. I wanted to trade with USDT, so I didn't want any of the other coin pairs. And then I made it into batches, and then I called each batch to get each coin data, the coin data for every single interval. So in this case, I did 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. But I ended up changing that 10 minutes to 15 because the candle data is at 15 minutes. I didn't know this at the time, but then because the other API let me do 10 minutes, I mean, it's the same API, sorry, the other endpoint let me do 10 minutes. I thought, oh, great, I'll do 10 minutes instead. No, ended up doing 15. So this is me just running it, saving all the data to the CSVs, looking at the CSVs, checking which ones are trending. And then we see that the coin is trending. You can see the graphs got a steep incline. And then obviously I'm reaching bugs. I'm asking Reddit, how do they calculate trending coins? How do you trade a trending coin? And then I'm getting the candlestick data. So this is the live data that I can use to calculate my own indicators, things like RSI, VWAP, Bollinger Bands, that sort of thing. And I'm asking ChatGPT. I've already done it before, but I just wanted it to suggest to me some good strategies for the trending coins because I haven't built a trending coin bot before. And also makes it super easy. Like, I can just paste in the errors and it'll just suggest fixes, which is great. Like, I'm not a vibe coder, but I do enjoy a good use of ChatGPT every now and then. Especially when calling APIs. The APIs are just so annoying to use, and ChatGPT is already trained on all that data, so it knows how to debug everything. It's so good. And then while the program was loading, my dog started playing, so I just thought I'd slot in a little video here. They're so cute. They get along so well. It's great. Getting a puppy was a great idea. I'm tired all the time, but I love it. Okay, so this is now me calculating the confirmations to buy. So I didn't want to just have a buy signal. I wanted to check a few different indicators and then choose to buy if a few intervals passed those indicator checks. So this ended up being wrong and I changed it later on, but I was checking to see that it wasn't overbought and that, I mean, just the normal indicators for trading, but it wasn't correct for a trending bot. A trending bot, you actually want the indicators to be higher than usual. You want the volume to be really high and you want the Bollinger Bands to be really wide and you want it to be really pushing that upper Bollinger Band to buy, which is not the logic that I'm used to. So my hunch was to do it the other way. Check that it's, less, check that it's underbought and buy then, and that ended up not being right. I wanted to buy when it was already overbought and people are still buying and the volume's still high. This could be wrong, but this is just how I ended up doing it in the end. So now I'm, of course, encountering a lot of errors, but it's really close to done. This was like the fastest program I've ever whipped up. There it is running, and I put $65 in my account, or transferred it from my other account, and I created a sub account as well in the background so that this is just trading on a sub account and not my main one, and it can trade every dollar that's in that account, which is great. Now we have the results. So this is starting from 61.29, which is actually the number of after I finished testing. That's what it ended up at. It was trading and then I had to sell manually and fix the bugs and then retrade. So taking that into account, it says I made $4, and then you can see how it's so volatile. Like it will lose a lot of money and make a lot of money. And then you can see this trade analysis here where I lost $3.70 to testing and then I ended up making $7.58, which is how I got to my final number. So in the end, I put in 65 US dollars, and the last I checked, it was 67.70. So I made $2.70 profit. I know, I'm rich, I know. I'm not gonna spend it all at once. No, but in all truth, you can't test a crypto bot in just 1 week. It takes months, it takes years. You have to test it in different markets. That being said, I do think that being in the green is a good sign in itself. It's hopeful because a lot of crypto bots just straight up lose money. So just to even have made some money at all over the week, it's great. It shows that it has potential. It's obviously very volatile. One day I'm making $7, next day losing that same $7. So I'll let it keep going. I have other bots in mind. I'm planning on sharing them with you. Hopefully I can build them, make a video if you're interested. And I'll leave this one running in the background. We'll just see how it goes. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, subscribe for more, I guess.